Giles failed to start, he broke his leg in qualifying. As the race got underway, Walker made one of his usual lightning starts, while Mackenzie from second on the grid dropped back into 8th place. James Hayden fought his way to the front and eventually overtook Walker going into the old hairpin. Meanwhile, Neil Mackenzie's luck got even worse and he eventually had to retire. But he wasn't the only one having a bad day. As Troy Bayliss headed down the Craner curves, pursuing Reynolds and Hislop for the last time, Hislop's bike slipped from under him, taking out Reynolds and Bayliss. That left Hayden to almost cruise home, with only Walker anywhere near him. Neil Hodgson was gifted a 3rd place on the podium, and as Hayden and Walker crossed the line, they looked round and couldn't understand where the opposition had gone.
Round 10. And it's the same lineup, obviously. Mackenzie hoping for much better luck this time. Mechanical retirement. It was, in fact, a big end failure that stopped the Yamaha in the first race. So Mackenzie has had his engine changed. Hislop he's out on his spare bike. Troy Bayliss is out on his spare bike. John Reynolds is out on his spare bike. They couldn't get them repaired in time, so Bayliss now has seen 25 points just vanish, and he's going to have to work very hard. Looking at James Hayden, first race winner. Hayden diving inside Neil Hodgson, as through comes Neil Mackenzie. Mackenzie's got something to do now to rescue the situation. The Yamaha man is getting faster, there's no doubt about it, but he has to be consistent, and moreover, the Yamaha must be reliable. But it's Chris Walker on the Kawasaki. It's Steve Hislop running well in 3rd. It's John Reynolds, number 4, who was fuming after being scooped up. But fair credit to Steve Hislop. The first thing he did once they all jumped up, Steve was going to apologise to the riders he brought down.
Yes, it's never much fun taking your mates out. We've all done it, but unfortunately for Steve Hislop, he took 2 others out. Now we look at Hayden down into the braking area, looking on the inside. He can't quite do it. This is on board with Bayliss, and we see what's going on there. He's having a look to pass his teammate there, Neil Hodgson. Neil Hodgson getting a good start. Who wasn't getting a good start is Neil Mackenzie. Unfortunately, 2nd place on the grid, and there he is way back down in 9th place. He's got a lot of work to do. Still on board now with Bayliss on the big twin-cylinder Ducati coming out of Redgate. This is Craner going towards Craner curve. A short shift, changing up early through the gears into 5th. Flicking it left here, 140 miles an hour, letting the bike drift out to the right, then getting it back hard on the brakes. Mackenzie again down into the old hairpin as he whips through there, slams it down the inside of Troy Bayliss, number 32. Mackenzie is definitely back, and let's hope he can pull his way through to the front here. So we come now through under Starkey's Bridge. This is up towards McLean's. It's really bumpy here. You'll see the front forks pattering as they go through there. Mackenzie running a little bit wide there, using all the curb. Back on board again with Bayliss now, and this is Mackenzie's rear. You can nearly see the teeth on his rear sprocket, so he's so close coming out of here. 4th gear, 5th gear, they just hook it into 6 as they go under the Dunlop Bridge here. Front wheel comes up in the air, slamming the brakes on a really fast part of the circuit, but now hard on the brakes.
165 miles an hour as they go under the bridge there. But it's Hayden away. The young man from Berkhamsted means business. He's right there. John Reynolds chasing hard. Chris Walker, though, out in front. Walker, Reynolds, number 4, Hayden, and then Hodgson, number 25, making a bid on the inside of Hislop and making it stick. The all-action style of the race leader, number 2 on the Kawasaki, Chris Walker, evident of his motocross experience. He uses a great deal of rear brake. The back end of the bike very loose, and look at Reynolds and Hayden side by side. The Suzuki number 8 not quite getting the better of the Ducati. Reynolds is very, very keen. I think that's an understatement to make amends for the first race crash, and it wasn't his fault. Hayden fighting back. Hodgson, it's nip and tuck all the way. Ducati, the Suzuki in 2nd. Kawasaki leads. These 4 pursued by number 32, Troy Bayliss, who is watching his points tally crumble. Having a disastrous day here at Donington Park by his standards so far through the season, and that elusive first victory still yet to be gained by race leader Chris Walker, who has led oh so many of these races in this current season and has not taken the checkered flag as the race winner once. But that day will come, Chris. Consistently you're there. You're racking up the points. You're 2nd in the championship. You are very close now. As through goes Neil Hodgson, doing a good job, and Reynolds taking the time out to look over his left shoulder to see possibly if Steve Hislop was there.
Yes, he doesn't want to be knocked off in the 2nd race, that's for sure, but he had a nonchalant look over his shoulder now, so they all spread out a little bit at this moment. It is there, Hayden in second place. He's got to close the gap. This will help the fact that he's on his own. He was starting to trip over John Reynolds a little bit. He's now got a chance to get his head down and close that gap on Chris Walker. Walker's obviously pushing very hard. Tyres start to come into it at this point, depending on how hard or soft your tyre is. But there it is. The gap has closed right the way down there. Number 32 there, still there, Troy Bayliss. And number 1 there, Neil Mackenzie, pulling his way through the field a little bit. That's in front of that pack is Sean Emmett. Just behind him is Hislop on the other Kawasaki. Over the rise now, 165 miles an hour before they slam the brakes on, down 4 gears into second gear, flicking it right and then left through there, and that is Hislop. Hislop's running there too deep, he's out-braked himself. Now he's got to go down into first gear and set off, so that's lost a huge amount of time for number 3 there, Steve Hislop. Over the start and finish straight, the pit boards on their left-hand side. Back at the front, it's still Walker, and tenaciously hanging in there is number 8, James Hayden, right behind him. A good ride from Neil Hodgson.
Well, Hislop not having the best of days here, crash in the first race, and he's going backwards down the order. Obviously, his spare bike not suiting him, but Walker now easing away ever so slightly. Hayden and Hodgson, number 25, Neil Hodgson, who had the very first win in the very first race in this championship and hasn't really blossomed since then. Huge amount of potential. He's won here in national races in 125s in his British Championship days, and he's going for second place, Neil Hodgson, and grabbing it from James Hayden. And in fourth place, it's John Reynolds, number 4 on the bike, 4th in the race. Troy Bayliss is closing, but he's not quite able to get in the slipstream of the leading 4. Chris Walker leads, number 2. 25, Neil Hodgson, the Burnley boy, in second place. The tall, lanky youngster, a lot of experience in World Superbike, a lot of experience in Grand Prix on 2-stroke and 4-stroke machine, and this Ducati suits him. Long, flowing style as they go round the right-hander. Hayden aggressively, look at his body language, hunched under the perspex, peering through the bubble, making himself as small as possible, up to the right-hander. Through goes James Hayden into second place again, and that little battle as they're tripping each other up all the time, possibly allowing Troy Bayliss to close. Neil Hodgson, though, not having any of it. John Reynolds keeping a respectful distance just in case someone else torpedoes him. Mackenzie is going well. I saw a quick flash. Out goes John Pugh, number 40, privateer John Pugh, ran across the grass, back on the tarmac, back with the front though. Number 2, Chris Walker, still going hard. Look at him, he's moving about on the bike. The back end, and it's rough around that left-hander, Steve, and indeed, up to McLean's, it's not too smooth.
No, it's not. You really got to get your front forks working well here, and you can see there the number 8 machine, the Suzuki there, of James Hayden pattering as he goes over the bumps. Every time Chris Walker looks over his shoulder, he has a different rider right behind him. Now, Hayden is in a perfect position. He's in that position where he can get a slipstream down this fast straight. He's coming out of here in 4th gear, flicking it into 5th now. He'll be tucking right behind Chris Walker again. The front wheel comes up, but not too much as you lose speed. Hayden has a look on the inside. He's got the inside line, and I'm sure he'll be able to slam it down there, and he does. Nowhere for Chris Walker to go. He has to run out wide, try and turn it back and cut the corner, so he now can get in the slipstream over the start and finish straight. And here we go again. Can Walker now pull out and dive down the inside as they go into Redgate? It's a wide corner, and sure enough, he gets through, but also on the inside, Neil Hodgson is having a battle there with John Reynolds. He doesn't get through, and this is close nip, and Reynolds gets through into second place. Brilliant stuff from John Reynolds now, and they're 3 abreast going down through Craner curves. This is just impossible. What's going to happen when they come into the old hairpin? And it looks like it is. It's number 8 there. James Hayden dives through on the inside, but Reynolds comes back. Number 4, Reynolds on the inside as they go under Starkey's Bridge. This is the race of the year.
Eat your heart out, World Superbike. There is no better racing in the world than this domestic Superbike series. Incredible stuff. 6 of them locked together. Hodgson in 3rd, Hayden in 4th. It's Reynolds number 4 in 2nd, but it's Chris Walker, the Kawasaki kid, out there in the lead, and Reynolds sat up a little bit. Just the back end just broke as he fed the power in on the Ducati. Looking now from Troy Bayliss, and that's the back end of the boy from Berkhamsted we're closing on. The Suzuki of James Hayden, and Bayliss is in 5th place, wants to do better. Not only is he in 5th, he's got the Yamaha of reigning champion Neil Mackenzie nibbling away at the back of the Ducati. The Yamaha is, there's Mackenzie, so 6 of them now. A freight train, it's a 12-wheeler into Redgate. Ducati in 2nd, Ducati in 3rd, Ducati in 5th, but it's led by the Kawasaki of Chris Walker, punctuated by the Suzuki of James Hayden, down towards the old hairpin again. What drama have we in store for us this time? Steve Hislop has dropped further and further off the pace, obviously not suited, and Colin Wright, the GSE team boss in pit lane, watching the all action. The times come down on that monitor, they can see exactly what's happening. Back again with Troy Bayliss on the back end of James Hayden, and is the Ducati, Steve, going to find a way past the Suzuki on this fastest part of the circuit?
Well, the Ducati seems to get its power down nicely. It gets down nice and early. The Suzuki is also fast. I don't think he's close enough at this time, and he isn't. Hayden moves over to the inside trying to block it, but Reynolds goes through. Again, John Reynolds dives through on the inside, runs wide, but he's able to block Walker. So Reynolds takes... Oh, no, he isn't, because Walker gets back inside. Ben Atkins there, the team boss from John Reynolds, is shaking his fist and cheering him on.
Revy Racing Ducati of Reynolds now in fourth. As round goes Chris Walker again. Hodgson elevated to second. Neil Hodgson means business. He knows full well that Troy Bayliss' teammate is behind him, because even though these are pals, they're team riders, there is obviously a competitive spirit within the team, because the best rider gets the best parts, the best bike. Hayden grabs second. He's certainly been the dominant force in the Suzuki team this year. Marty Craggle, number 33, suffering from injury. It's Mackenzie now, having gone past Bayliss, and it's the Yamaha number 1 in 5th place. This is proof, if proof were needed, that the Yamaha is now quick. Rob McElnay, ex-rider and team boss of Neil Mackenzie, was very confident, in a great mood before the race, saying that we've now got the bike going quickly. Neil is going smooth. There is no finer rider around Donington Park than Neil Mackenzie, who once swept into the lead here at a 500 GP and had 65,000 people on their feet, and everybody's on their feet now as Bayliss claws back that place, relegating Mackenzie to 6th. So Troy Bayliss in 5th, a big wiggle from the Ducati. The Suzuki there, the man with the glasses, Jeremy Watley, former British motocross champion, one of the Suzuki technicians, and he's watching his man James Hayden in 2nd place at the moment as Hodgson and Reynolds fight it out tooth and nail. Tail enders now ahead of this bunch. Is it going to be the undoing of them again as they come up against the tail enders? And Steve, such a short lap, they lap very quickly.
Yes, it is a short lap as it's on the short circuit, but the gloves are off now, and I think they're even starting to pull hair. It's just incredible how these riders are over the top of one another. Here we have the leader in the Privateers Cup. He's running nice and smoothly this time. Paul Young on the Yamaha. Things are running much better in this race, so he'll just extend his lead if he carries on in that position. Down into the chicane now, and we saw Walker there keeping a nice tight line. He's making that Kawasaki as wide as he possibly can, but he doesn't seem to be able to make it wide enough because Hayden is so good at the old hairpin. He gets down the inside at Craners into the red gate corner, and he's done it early. Hayden has gone through into the lead earlier than I was expecting. Walker has to try and cut back in to see if he can get the drive down through here. Short shifting again down here, not using all the power because the bike's stacked over as they go through Craner curves. The negative camber there, it's very easy to lose the front, and this is where Hayden is very quick and leaving no room at all for number 2 there, Chris Walker, to pass. So it's Hayden leading.
Over 3/4 race distance, and we just have to settle things down here a bit because this is open for anyone to take the win here. Look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Neil Mackenzie still very much in touch. James Hayden, though, on his way possibly to a double win here. Reynolds apparently now out of the proceedings in 4th place. Hodgson in 5th. It looks to me as though Chris Walker is better placed now than he's been anywhere in this series so far to take a win. He's running strongly at the front. Look at Reynolds. Reynolds has gone from 4th to 2nd. Eating my words, I am sitting here because I had discounted John Reynolds. He is now in 2nd place, disproving my theory at least. Chris Walker's got Ducatis swarming all over him, and Walker's going backwards at a rate of knots. Hayden still leads. Reynolds in 2nd, Hodgson in 3rd, Walker in 4th, Bayliss in 5th, and Neil Mackenzie just waiting there to pick up the pieces should we have a repeat performance of the drama we saw on the last lap of the first race. James Hayden, though, seemingly now 3-4 lengths leads, but we know just how quick that Ducati is, the number 4 Ducati in 2nd place. See the bumps as they go round the left-hander out of Starkey's up towards McLean's. It's a little bit rough there, a few ripples. Hodgson beautifully placed in 3rd. Is it going to be a real 3rd place for Neil Hodgson this time, because he was gifted 3rd place in the first race as a result of the crash that took out the 3 men ahead of him? and we're riding again with Bayliss, but this time we are chasing Chris Walker's Kawasaki, and the Ducati is miles an hour faster than the Kawasaki when speed really counts. And Walker, though, fighting back. Did he get Bayliss back on the inside? It's a right and a left. They're swapping paint. Steve, I've got to stop for breath.
Yeah, well, there you saw Chris Walker. It was a perfect move because Bayliss had a look on the inside, but Walker used every bit of road, but now he's through on the inside. He's not, but Walker lets the brake off, but who goes through? He's number one there, Neil Mackenzie on the Yamaha. So Mackenzie's still fighting. He wants to join the party. Down through Craners, look at those bikes, knee on the floor at 140 miles an hour as they go through there. And it's changed now because through goes number 4 there, John Reynolds, but he's not for long because Hayden is straight back underneath him at that old hairpin where he's so fast. Reynolds has a look on the inside through underneath Starkis. And look at there, behind him is that Ducati of Neil Hodgson. He's not finished with this race yet.
I've lost count of the number of passing manoeuvres in this race. There's also a terrific battle going on in the privateers race further down the field. There's Brett Sampson, number 77, who had his motorhome broken into and his leathers and boots nicked before the event, but he's borrowed a set. It's Dave Redgate leading. Nigel Nottingham's in there. Ray Stringer, the old veteran, Paul Young's boss, is also out there riding number 17 and going well. It's Young, of course, though, who is leading this privateer race, and he's well clear. But look at the scrap. Such is the quality of racing further down the field. And Ray Stringer giving a good account of himself, not nearly such a good account of himself as this man James Hayden on his last lap now, leading the charge with Reynolds. And it's Neil Hodgson there in third place. Hayden might just have done enough, I think, now to keep the Ducatis behind him. Is it going to be 50 points in the bag now for the youngster from Berkhamsted as he comes round Coppice? This is where it's going to count. Up the straight, the Suzuki weaving. He was feeding the power in so early there, the back was just beginning to break traction. Hayden leads. Watch Reynolds, though. Is he going to make a play for the inside? He's going round the long way, John Reynolds, round the outside of Hayden, and there's no room for Hodgson, but Reynolds has got it. A terrific win for John Reynolds, going some way towards compensating for that catastrophe in the first race. And what an incredible piece of superbike action here at Donington. You can ask for no more. Hodgson, a creditable third. Poor old Chris Walker, what does he have to do? Mackenzie got the better.